Fun fact, I already recorded this video, and then when I went to edit it, I realized I was shirtless. So now I gotta do it again. I've always found it kind of weird when people say that they can't roleplay. Every time I talk to somebody who's never played Dungeons & Dragons before, and I'm like, hey, try it, it's great, it's fun, it's good, I'll teach you. They're like, I don't know, I just wouldn't be good at the whole role-playing thing. What do you mean? I mean, we all used to play pretend as kids. You have already had experience role-playing. You just probably don't remember it that well. But just in case you need help, I've got 5 tips for you today to help you become a better role player.
Riser, double.
I take how much damage? Step 1, pitch your voice. People often think that in order to be a good role player, you have to be a voice actor, and that's just simply not the case, right? I personally have been voice acting for a very long time. Ever since I saw the very first Harry Potter movie, I mimicked Draco Malfoy when he first met Harry Potter. So the rumors are true. Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts. That fucking line, I repeated that shit ad nauseum, and I've been practicing for a very long time. I can do an old man voice. Or I can go up here and be a little kid. I can try a little sultry voice once in a while. Maybe even something a bit more showy. You don't have to do all that, though. All you have to do is pitch your voice. Bring it down a little bit deeper. Or bring it up a little bit higher. It's very, very easy to give your character a unique voice without having to go through years and years and years of learning accents and inflections and things like that. Just learn how to, you do it all the time, right? Just pretend that you're an e-boy trying to impress a girl that he likes and he's doing his morning voice, right? I am Ragnar the Barbarian. You know what I mean? Women, you know what I'm talking about. Do that little ooh-woo shit. You know exactly what I mean. Oh my god, thank you so much for coming in. And I can't do the ooh-woo shit because I can't do a woman's voice, but the point is that all it takes in order to give your character a unique voice is just to pitch it a little bit, and boom, you've got a unique voice and you can get a little bit more lost in your character. Step 2, use emotions. I cannot tell you how many times I've had somebody tell me that they suck at role-playing, and it's because they just simply didn't use emotions. You have cried before. You've gotten angry before. You have been sad and you have been happy. You can do this. I believe you can. All you gotta do is remember that feeling. If you are playing through voice and your character undergoes something dramatic, hang your head down and think about the last time you were sad. You can talk a little bit about how you just couldn't believe that the bard would sacrifice themselves like that. For not only you, but the rest of the party. If you're excited, you can quicken your voice and raise your pitch a little bit. I can't believe this! We finally took care of that bastard who's been terrorizing the townsfolk. Let us go back and claim our reward. If you're angry, you raise your voice to the highest it can be and add the rasp as you slam your fist upon the table. How dare you betray us? How dare you stab us in the back? Emoting can carry a lot of potential, and just like the pitching of your voice, it's something that's very easy and simple to do that can put you in the story just a little bit better. Step 3, describe your actions. It is so easy to just go, I hit the goblin with my sword. You know what I mean? Instead, say, I grasp my sword with both hands and take one mighty swing to the goblin's neck. Just a little bit more adjectives and a little bit more poeticism thrown in there. You don't have to go on long-ass Shakespearean monologues. I see the goblin and smell the stench of his rancid body odor as I grasp my hand with 2 swords and take 12 steps before hurling back and swinging for his neck. You don't got to do all that. We're not actors. Right? Just describe the actions a little bit more. It could be something as simple as being a little bit angrier. I'll give you a great example. In this one campaign I played, we had a goblin wizard and a human barbarian, and the goblin wizard and the human barbarian were best friends. Well, one of the enemies ran up and hit the goblin and did honestly pretty significant damage. Afterwards, the barbarian ended up describing what they did. I run up to the enemy and I say, back off of my goblin! And I enter my rage as my eyes turn red and my body temperature rises and swing my great axe in a reckless attack. It's that simple. It's that easy. You've over-described things before. I'm sure you have. Just do it here. Step 4. Give your character a personality. This is probably the biggest one. This is like, of the 5 I'm giving you today, this is the one that I see the most common mistake players make. They just want to come in and build a character that's going to go through a bunch of combat scenarios. And that's fine on the surface, right? Like, I think that at the end of the day, building a character just to hit shit with your big stick is perfectly fine. But if you want to be a better role player, then your characters need to have personality. You can make them someone who's insanely curious, so that every time they come across someone, they ask a ton of questions or they ponder a lot. Give them a kind of aloof type of personality where they don't really care until they do. You can even use this to use the edgelord properly, which I do have a video planned on how to actually play edgelords without being an edgelord. But giving your character a personality helps you get into that character and helps them react to situations in certain ways that kind of give them that extra bit of flair. And this comes with giving them things like flaws and quirks. One of my Dragonborn fighters that I had back when I was still able to be a player was an alcoholic. He would take a swig from his canteen anytime he was stressed. And if he ever didn't have alcohol on him, he would become more and more irritable and sometimes act more and more reckless. This was something that I gave him so that I could be separated from him. One of the biggest things that I think a lot of players struggle with, especially when it comes to role-playing, is the fact that they tend to want to play themselves. And that's not a bad thing, but it can be difficult to roleplay properly because instead of thinking, I'm in the mind of this character in a different world, you're thinking, I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of my dorky friends, being a dork myself, playing a dorky game. And that can really take you out of the experience. Which leads me to Step 5, use I statements. Your character's name is Ragnar the Barbarian. Well, I'm assuming he's not going to have the full title, The Barbarian, but let's just say your character's name is Ragnar. And every time your DM calls out, Ragnar, what do? You respond with, Ragnar is going to swing at the goblin. Ragnar is going to go to the store to see if he can restock on his rations. Ragnar is going to stare lovingly at that woman across the tavern, but not actually talk to her because he's too nervous to do so, and pretty women scare him, which I relate to, Ragnar. I completely understand. But I think it's incredibly important that you stop doing that and instead start saying I. And this is also a bonus tip for DMs. Don't call out your players' real names when it's their turn to do something. Call out the name of the character. This helps the players get immersed just as much as using I statements do. So players, instead of saying Ragnar does this, say I swing at the goblin. I go to the store to restock on rations. I stare at the beautiful woman from across the tavern but never actually approach her because pretty women scare me. Again, relatable. Saying that will help you put you better in the mindset that what you're playing is an extension of yourself. You are your character. I know I said in the last section, stop trying to play just yourself because it can be difficult, but this is going hand in hand with that. If you give your character a unique personality, something that's a little bit separate from yourself, and then you use I statements, you're putting yourself in the mind of that character. And then all of the things from the list over this course of this video become far easier to get involved in. And that's all the tips I have for you guys today. If you've been struggling with role playing and have used these tips, let me know how they worked out for you. And as always, I greatly appreciate the support and the patience while I try to get an actual upload schedule for these videos. Other than that, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.